Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Google Workspace Recap, a Tab Geeks Network show. Each week we take you through everything announced by Google Workspace, discussing the updates of the week and other relevant news and announcements. My name is Jesse Nolan, my co-host is Steve Larson, and we are here to help you keep up. My voice is a little bit gravelly tonight thanks to my kids being in the hospital multiple times this week for different reasons. One had an infection and the other one decided he was going to do an Olympic spin jump into the pool. He's 5. And he hit his head and had a dime-sized gash in his head and needed a couple stitches, and so it's been a bit of a week and then some. So yeah, I'm a little bit frazzled, exhausted. In good news, I'm going to the MLB All-Star Game tomorrow night, or rather tonight for those who are actually listening to the show when we launch it. So anybody who's in LA for the game, let me know, and hopefully we'll see you and grab a beer or something. Hit me up, Twitter, whatever, let me know. Steve, I hope your week was better than mine.
I would say so, just slightly. I did not go to the hospital for any gashes, but I was recovering from like a torn calf, though, muscle. But quickly got better. So
Something in the air last week, I guess.
I couldn't walk for like, I don't know, 2 days or something like that, and then
Oh my God.
kind of back to normal right now. Did some physical therapy today for the first session.
Nice.
So, yeah, not nearly as bad as stitches though.
Yeah. I mean, it was traumatizing for him, but it was traumatizing for us too.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I remember many trips to the ER and stitches back in the day and casts, and when I was a kid, I can only imagine. Yeah.
I never had those. I never got stitches. I never had casts.
Oh, yeah.
I broke this finger, my middle finger, which means I get to flip everybody off because it's still messed up, and that's a story for another time. But yeah, it was an extensive break, and it happened playing basketball as a teenager.
I got some scars here, some scars here, some scars here, some scars here, there, over there, everywhere.
Goodness.
They're all over the place. Yeah.
These are the answers to our security questions, folks.
Yeah.
Where was your first scar?
Right.
I don't think I've ever gotten that one.
Oh, like the first one? I don't know. My first one is actually here.
Oh, there you go.
That was like when I was 18 months old.
Holy moly. My camera focus is all over the place tonight. I don't know what's going on here.
It is. I know. I'm
Driving me crazy.
not looking at it that much, but when I do, it is in and out. Yeah.
Oh, well. All right. Last week was a week
good.
episode.
Solid.
Let's see what we got this week. It was solid.
Yeah, it was a solid week.
Not a lot
We
of
had 6 updates, a couple beta releases.
I was saying last
week.
week's episode was weak. This week was solid in terms of releases.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. All of those
Onward.
things you're trying to say there. Yeah, so last week, 6 updates. Yet another Drive for desktop update. Version 61 came out. They've been cranking those out pretty regularly these days. I mean, like every 2 weeks every like 3 weeks at the looks at things here. But in terms of updates that we saw, we'll run through those here for you real quick. Headlines. So first one is that you can now allow collaborators to analyze data in connected sheets with delegated access. You can also sync Apple DEP and Google mobile device management servers on demand. I thought they changed DEP to like ABM now, but I don't know. Maybe some people are still referring to it as DEP, I guess. You can now, there's now data loss prevention for Google Chat, which is available as an open beta. There's better sharing options for appointment schedules. You can now also use Miro within Google Meet for an immersive and collaborative whiteboard experience. And Jesse, as you pointed out, I think that was something that was announced or alluded
in August.
to quite a while ago. August, right? You found that?
Announced, yeah.
Yes, finally released recently, last week. And then finally, trust rules for Google Drive are now available in an open beta. So two of those 6 betas for you. They were, I know, available in alpha before. So I've been playing around with some of those for a little while, kind of using some of the chat DLP to prevent like file uploads of certain types, which is kind of interesting. And then, as I mentioned, there's a drive for desktop update now at version 61. And then in some of the other topics, we have quite a few other topics here. And first one there is that there's some events coming up. So there's actually quite a few events that are part of this. So there is an Ask Me Anything with, I forgot who it was with. It's not Ravi anymore, but it is another very prominent person in the community that used to not work at Google, recently has joined. Goldie Aurora. There you go. And so Goldie will be doing an Ask Me Anything on Cloud Identity coming up on the 26th of July. So some decent notice if you're listening to this episode. Finally, it's not just like they announced it and it's next week or tomorrow or something like that. So got a bit of heads up on this one. Next one is that it's just some news here about preparing for your professional Google Workspace Administrator certification.
This is also an event.
That is another event. Yes, exactly. And that one is actually today/tomorrow. It is Tuesday, the 19th of July. So this may have passed on this one. And I don't know, did we talk about this one before? We may have missed this one. I think I've seen this for a little while. I think I did register a while ago, but it is with, actually I met Jason. Jason used to work at the consulting company I used to work for. We didn't work there at the same time. We ran into each other when he was working at, I think SADA. I think it's SADA, right? Is that where Jason's from?
He's over at SADA now. Workspace deployment engineer and pod lead.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was somewhere else in between, or maybe he went straight to SADA. I can't remember where he was when I met him. But anyways, I met him a couple of years ago. I think it was at the Cloud M certification event that they had here in Chicago, and Jason was there with his partner at the time, as was I. And then, as we mentioned, just Miro getting added into Google Meet. There's just a little 9 to 5 article here that complements that. Another event, which is the kind of a pretty big event, SADA Impact. I think this is their SADA's version of a Google Next, it looks like. And it is coming up in September. So September 14th and the 15th are the main event days, but there's also one kind of reception event on the 13th. So if you can get there a little early, which I think I'm going to try to get there on the 13th. This could be
first time
I actually meet in person. We'll see. This could be it. And then looks like C2C just kind of making some headlines here in terms of the number of members that they now have as part of their community, which is up to 25,000 strong, as they say in the article. So yeah, I think that's still kind of growing. All right, so let's have a look here at the updates. First one that I mentioned, giving the ability for collaborators to analyze data in connected sheets with delegated access. So for admins for certain workspace editions, of course those with enterprise, and others, we'll get to the details on which ones, but you can allow your users to delegate access to BigQuery when using connected sheets. And if you enable the setting as an admin, end users will be able to delegate their credentials to collaborators to allow them to refresh or edit analysis as needed. So as an admin, this feature will be off. So if you do want to enable this, you will have to go into your admin console and allow your users to do this. And if you are a user that has an admin that has allowed this, you can turn on this connection setup here. And there's a few little options to allow collaborators there to refresh and analyze the data using your credentials again. So keep that in mind. It will authorize against yourself. It's essentially like a delegated access that you're granting them. So it's almost like a shared inbox. Essentially, you're acting on their behalf. So keep that in mind. So any actions that they do will look as if it was you that did it. And rollout for this one will be on a gradual rollout starting on the 12th of July, up to 15 days for visibility. And that is going to be for both rapid release and scheduled release domains. And as I mentioned at the beginning, only available to certain editions, which is Enterprise Essentials, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, Education Standard, and Education Plus customers. Next one, syncing Apple DEP or ABM and Google mobile device management servers for company-owned devices. And you can do this on demand. So in addition to the sync, which automatically takes place once every several hours, admins will now be able to request the sync on demand for time-sensitive needs. And if you need to do this, you go into your admin console under your iOS settings, kind of where you set up your certificate with Apple. And in the Apple device enrollment section there, you'll have a sync DEP devices. And that's pretty much the extent of it there. It's just forcing that sync as and when you need it instead of on the automatic sync that is already scheduled. Rollout for this one also started on the 12th of July on a full rollout pace with 1 to 3 days for feature visibility for both rapid release and scheduled release domains. And let's see what else here. This one available to Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, and Cloud Identity Premium customers. So a very limited subset of customers that can do this. And if you're one of those lucky customers and you have DEP, ABM, this will be a feature for you. Yeah. All right, getting a little bit more interesting here. So the ability to add data loss prevention to Google Chat is now available in an open beta. Oof, I almost thought I kicked the water open over there.
Whoops.
Heard it, yeah.
That would have been tragic. Right all over the wires.
Yeah, it would have been it's like a full liter of water here. All right. So with this, in your DLP rules controls, you can now target data loss prevention in your Google Chat application, as well as Drive and Chrome, as they kind of show there in the image. Now Chrome is only available for Beyond Corp customers. I believe that is how you get access to the Chrome rule functionality. But if you do have access to all of those, that's where you'll see Chrome Chat and Drive all available there in that screenshot. When you configure this setting, there'll be quite a few different things that you can control there. So just like your usual roles, you can warn or block and prevent things. What you'll be able to apply this to include external conversations that are either spaces, group chats, or one-on-one chats, and you can pick and choose which ones of those three. So which of the external conversations you want to target. It can be spaces, group chats, or one-on-one chats. Same goes for your internal conversations as well. So you can selectively pick how these get controlled, how these get applied when you're creating these controls. And what will happen to your end users, if they if they try to upload, let's say, a document, a file, or some sort of text that is restricted, for example, credit card numbers, of course, you will get a message saying your message couldn't be sent and that it contains sensitive content. By the looks of things here, it is it's a non-specific message. So it just says, your content contains something that is restricted, like, for example, credit card numbers. But it doesn't mean necessarily that that is what it was. It could be something else. So it is not as specific, I think, as what we saw I'm trying to think of like the Gmail DEP rules, or in the Docs DEP, where I think it would tell you which control, like which type of content it was that was being recognized as that.
What you flagged, yeah.
Yeah. So this one is just kind of a generic message. So you kind of have to...
It'll probably change with time.
Maybe here, yeah. So yeah, this one, pretty straightforward if you've been using DEP before in terms of where it's at, how it works. So you'll be able to see some of these log events, though, in the system security investigation tool as before with other DLP rules. And of course, this will be off by default. So if you are looking to implement this, you gotta go in there under security and data protection and start to create some rules. Getting into the rollout of this one also started the 12th of July on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility for both wrapped release and scheduled release domains. This is also a bit limited, but not nearly as much as the previous update. So it will, in addition to those enterprise SKUs that I mentioned before, Standard Plus and kind of Cloud Editing Premium. Well, it doesn't say Cloud Editing Premium because it doesn't quite. It kind of works. I'll get to that. But Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, Education Fundamentals, Education Standard, Education Plus, and Teaching and Learning Upgrade customers will be able to have access to that. So DLP rules for Drive are also available for Cloud Editing Premium users who are licensed for Workspace editions with Drive Audit Log. So kind of the little caveat there with that one. And it's interesting that they just mentioned Drive because, this is, you can modify existing DLP rules for Drive and Chrome to also apply to chat. It's kind of what they were talking about there. I think that's why they talked about where this would potentially apply. Because when you're creating those rules, you can tell it which applications do you want that condition, which applications you want that condition, those conditions to apply to. So you can also apply it to chat, Drive, and Chrome at the same time if you want. That is that one. Not available to a lot of those other SKUs that are lower tiers, nonprofits included, which unfortunately is me. Yeah, I know working on a nonprofit domain is a little bit limiting, but trying to get the upgrade. Trying to convince people that we should get the upgrade. I'll see. I did get my access control system approved though today, so we're getting a new access control system through OpenPath, and it only took about 6 months to get that finalized and approved. So
I was looking at OpenPath today.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, they got off Motorola. Price increase though coming in like a week, like 15% price increase. I
was at an urgent care to get my son's stitches removed, and that's who they were using. I was like, oh, OpenPath, that looks interesting. Yeah. I've seen them before. Yeah, go and check that out. Yeah, we're looking at Verkada for access control, which is expensive, but we've got their cameras, so it makes sense to go and access as well.
I guess.
Anyway, we digress. That's a conversation for the SaaS Showdown.
Right. All right, so 3 more updates here. Next one, some better sharing options for appointment schedules. So appointment scheduling, as you know, is kind of an improvement to the appointment slots, right? So appointment slots is what predated appointment scheduling. So now with the new appointment scheduling, you can make it easier to share your appointment schedules on the web through a new share button, and it allows appointment hosts to copy a short link to all appointment schedules or a specific booking page and add HTML to embed a booking page on their website. So, nice functionality here to embed as well as link and share.
Quick update there. They just came out with this. It's a quick update. They just came out with this product and now they're updating it. It's great.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it's yes, they've just released it, but they've also been using it for a long time at Google.
Right.
So this has been the way that Googlers have been creating, sharing links for them to share their calendars with people for, over a year at least, probably close to 2 years from what I recall. I mean, maybe even 3, in fact. I think I remember
Google
seeing this.
including all the good stuff.
Yeah, I remember seeing this maybe 3 years ago, I think. For some, Googlers in certain teams would have a link, schedule a meeting with me, and this is what they were using.
That was the interface,
the Google version of it, yeah.
Just going to put it out there that the logo that they use in the screenshot for Castro Consulting on here looks a little bit similar to a certain Calendly logo.
It does.
Same color. It's obviously it doesn't have any of the C in there, but it does have some of the symbols going around. So maybe a little dig at their competition there.
Possibly, yeah.
Somebody who was coming up with that, either consciously or subconsciously.
Yeah, perhaps. Let's see, getting into the rollout pace of this one. This one is split between wrapped release and scheduled release. So those on the wrapped release domains, this also started July 12th, a popular day for these updates to start rolling out. On a gradual release, up to 15 days for feature visibility there. And then for the scheduled release domains, that will start the 27th of July and a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility as well. And availability for this one, availability to a little bit wider audience, Workspace Individual, Business Standard Plus, Education Standard Plus, and Enterprise Plus, Education Fundamentals, Education Standard, Education Plus, Teaching Learning Upgrade, and luckily I get it as well to the nonprofit customers. Nice.
There you go. Still doesn't have the ability to check multiple calendars for scheduling, though, which Calendly does.
No, right. Like, yeah, I know. I have like 5 calendars that I need to integrate, so I still kind of need to use Calendly if I want to get a very accurate booking URL to someone. Or it's a very tedious process of, like checking next week to make sure that I've blocked off all the important dates and times from my other calendars on the calendar that they're looking at directly. So.
Yep, been there.
Yeah. Next one, some added functionality here with Meet and third-party integrations. It's where Miro is now an option directly in the kind of activities and extra integrations here when you're in the side panel there. So Miro can be used with Google Meet for an immersive and collaborative whiteboard experience. And it's really just a fancy way to do a screen share, really. That's kind of all it is, right? It's like you could have just...
I haven't played with it, actually.
Tab that had the Miro board open, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something more to it than just sharing a tab, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it has the Meet included, but better integration, I suppose. But I don't know. I definitely will be trying this out because I've long said one of my gripes about Jamboard or even Meet in general is the fact, and this comes from my CEO, that he wants to be able to share a map, for example, from Google Maps on his screen and have himself and other people be able to mark it up, draw circles on it or arrows or boxes or notes or what have you, so that everybody can kind of collaborate on one thing together and then save that and, work off that again in the future or reference it in the future because we're in real estate and that's what we do. We work with a lot of maps and imagery like that, satellites, drone shots, whatnot, and we can't. So I'm definitely going to see if I can do that with Miro. I like it.
Should be good. Yeah. Again, I mean, to me, it just seems like a fancy way to share a tab that had the Miro board open. I don't know.
Well, this, I mean,
we'll
they
see.
mentioned...
I have a couple Miro boards that have been shared on recently, so I should probably test this out.
You should.
Yeah.
Did they mention in here in the article I saw elsewhere that they are basically working to roll out a lot more? I think it was in the article that I posted later on in the show. Is that they're looking to plug into a lot more services like this into Google Meet? Because they want plugins. They want
like Zoom and
integrations.
Teams, for example.
Cough. Zoom, Teams.
Yes. Still at least another, I think, 3 to 6 months out for the beta on that one. Is my guess. I don't know where I'm getting this information from.
Other integrations, you mean?
Yeah, other integrations with Zoom. Or other integrations for Meet, like Zoom and Teams. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So one thing to note on this one, this is a feature that's going to be on if you're a Workspace Enterprise or Workspace customer that is not education. But if you are a Workspace education customer, this will be off by default, so users won't be able to use this by default. They'll have to turn it on as an admin. So it also seems like your admin can turn it off. So if you are not seeing this and it's been kind of past the rollout date, which should be by now, because this was a pretty quick rollout, then your admin may have disabled it. So for that rollout pace there, it started the day after most of our updates have been rolling out. So this one started the 13th of July, and this was on a full rollout with 1 to 3 days for feature visibility on both wrapped release and schedule release domains. And all customers are going to get this for Workspace as well as Legacy G Suite Basic and Business, and it's available also to users with personal accounts. It is not available. This is the first time I'm seeing this. Not available to users with a Google Family Link account or users under the age of 18. Interesting.
I guess because they can't guarantee the type of content.
I don't know. I mean,
It's third party.
something about that. Oh, speaking about guaranteeing and ages and functionality of like Google consumer accounts, Google Workspace accounts. Did you see that Linus Tech Tips video?
No, recent
Did you
one?
see that? Yeah, a recent one, like from like a week
No,
ago.
I don't watch him regularly.
It was talking about how like a Googler essentially reached out somewhere. I don't know if it was directly to them or on some public forum, but essentially talking about why you can't use certain Google applications or features on your Workspace account that you can on your consumer account. And it's kind of exactly what I've been saying all along, is it has to do with data protection, privacy, and how these systems have been configured and how they share data with each other. And, it was the video and or the engineer was kind of saying, well, these things are segmented because of this, and we just haven't engineered, the ability to recognize the differences in this data. So therefore we just don't allow it,
Interesting.
at all, which makes sense. It's just, how important is it to actually, build this functionality to do that? I don't know. I mean, that's kind of why you block it, because it would violate certain terms and conditions that you've given your users, which makes sense to me. Like, it doesn't seem like it was kind of alluding to the fact that they were saying like Google was kind of lazy, that they could do it technically if they wanted to, but they're just not putting in the effort to
Right.
allow it to happen, right? And to recognize, that, the let's say the audio that you're sending your Google Assistant is coming from a Workspace account. Therefore, do not index it in our, training algorithms and stuff like that. Which is what, so we didn't make it available. So I don't know. I don't mind it. I mean, it's, that you have a work account and it's for work and can only do certain things, and you have a consumer account that does consumer things, and it's really easy to switch between the two. And
Yeah, I would agree with you, except for the fact that they keep trying to position certain things like
Right.
the Google Home
Yes.
hubs as work devices, and they don't
Right.
work very well.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Yeah, I think there are some overlaps there that, there's kind of miscommunication or crossed wires in terms of what they're trying to accomplish in some of those things, and and then not realizing that there's some limitations that are imposed as a result.
Right.
Yeah, I know Kim Nilsson over there in Sweden. I know he's got some, YouTube. So most of his family, I believe, is on Workspace accounts. That's kind of how he manages the family and all that stuff. But when you want to use those accounts then for things like YouTube and all that
Yep.
stuff, it just doesn't work. So it's kind of where it would be nice to have, of course, the oversight sometimes when you're managing and maintaining, accounts for family or things like that. But certain services you can't use with Google because of the Workspace part.
Right.
All right, let's get into the last update here, and then we have quite a few other topics that we were going to be bringing up here. So last one of the week, number 6, is that Trust Rules for Google Drive is now available in an open beta. So there was a closed beta for Trust Rules with Drive back in 2021, so that gave admins some more control over how files are shared, both in and out of the organization, of course, is what DLP rules are. So this is now coming to everyone. So if you want to enable this one here, again, head on over to that under rules and turn on trust rules, and you'll be able to have some more control over there of how those files are shared. So things like admins being able to limit what their frontline workers should have access to versus other parts of their organization. So there's a nice little article here kind of trying to different types of users that are in your organization. So I'm trying to look here. So there's someone like in the Google Workspace org, users 1 and 2, they cannot share with partner employees. And then you have some other users that can share with partner employees. And then over on the other side, in that partner org, some of those users are allowed to share with the, let's say the Google employees, and others cannot. So there's ways to kind of start to limit sharing within the org of your users and kind of target that sharing of files a little bit more granularly than previously, where it was kind of an all or nothing type of a setting. As I said here, it's, previously there was just no external sharing or only sharing with trusted domains. It was kind of all or nothing type of thing. They should have kind of given some more examples here, but I guess they do have an animated kind of GIF here of it just finally loaded. It just took a long time to actually load. That's why I didn't think it was animated, because it was just static.
That's weird.
For a while. Yeah,
what's wrong with your
it looked
internet?
like it was. It's still not quite what I thought. It's really just them going to the rules and turning on the trust rules. It's really all the animation shows. It's really not that good of an article there. But in terms of rollout for this one, it sounds like it's on. The rollout pace really doesn't give us any dates. It says rapid release and scheduled release domains. You can turn on trust rules today in the admin console. This is the first time where you've not seen any rollout pace or timing on this. It's basically, hey, we announced it. It is available today. Everyone has it. Done.
Cool.
It'd be nice that
They should do that more often.
they should. Yeah, it'd be nice. So if you are a customer that has access to this feature, you would be an Enterprise Plus, Enterprise Standard, Education Plus, or Education Standard customer, and you would not be anyone else because you would not have it then. So just 4 different license types there that get this one. And that is all she wrote on the 6 updates from last week. As I mentioned, we also had yet another update to Drive for Desktop. Version 61 is out there for Windows and Mac devices. There's some, there's some ongoing issues with that macOS file provider where users were unable to open mirrored shortcuts, so that's been resolved. There were also some resolved issues on search and help pages where the wrong text was verbalized by screen readers. And then, of course, the ever ambiguous additional bug fixes and performance improvements, as they always like to add in there on many updates these days, and not really tell you what they've done, just say that we've done some stuff. So they've done some stuff.
I hate when apps do that. App Store updates. And, ugh.
I know. Yeah. Or they're like, oh, click here to learn more about the updates.
Yeah. Just tell me.
Some bullet points. I just need to be simple bullet points. Give me a few.
Well, I do not have the update yet. I'm still on 60.0.2.0.
Yeah, I think I was still on. It did just get announced the 14th, so it's only been a couple days on a rollout there. So they do gradually roll out Drive for Desktop updates. So it does take a little while. And no, downloading the DMG directly from, it doesn't get it to you any faster. It only changes versions there once everyone has it. So you can't speed up your upgrade, unfortunately. And then 5 little headlines here and our other topics. I think I mentioned the first one. It's that Ask Me Anything Cloud Identity event. We said with Goldie.
Yeah, this looks to be a series, these Ask Me Anything events. So kicking off with this one, not sure what's coming next, but we'll have to definitely keep an eye on this space. And like you said at the top of the show, luckily we get some advanced warning for this one, July 26th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Goldie Aurora, Google Workspace Specialist, is going to be focusing on what is Google Cloud Identity and how it can help your business along with the updates and new features of Cloud Identity. So if you're interested in Cloud Identity, go and check that out. Yeah, absolutely.
It's always going to be a popular topic. I mean, there's over 100 people registered on this one.
Wow, yeah.
So, yeah.
Good times.
Popular event. I know when we did our one with Ravi, I mean, we had like over 200 users on that session. So Yeah, people
Guess
are
we'll have to do another one.
interested in that. Mm-hmm.
All right. Next one, as you
Yeah, all
said,
right.
is for people that are listening currently, is, well, you probably already missed it because it's 9
Yeah.
a.m. It starts at 8 a.m. Pacific and ends at 9 a.m. Pacific on the 19th, which will be, unfortunately, before I release this episode tomorrow. So apologies for not getting this out to you all sooner. But good news on this effect, or on this element, we are in talks with somebody over at Google to bring them on the show to talk about what it takes to get the Google Workspace certifications. So if you missed this event, stay tuned for news from us, and be sure to get your questions ready. We will be having somebody on the show, and we can submit questions to them in advance, and hopefully we can get some of those questions answered for you. Don't have an exact date yet, but it will be in the next couple of weeks, most likely. But anyway, I'm sure
Did you
this.
register for this?
No, I don't think I did.
All
Why?
right. Well, because I don't have it on my calendar, and I'm pretty sure I registered for this, and it's not on any of my calendars. So, I'm registering right now, actually, as we
All
speak.
right. Well, good news is our buddy Ian Crew asked if it will be recorded and posted, and they responded that it will be recorded and available on demand in addition to the live session in the community. So be
You
sure
know
to
what?
click
Now
our
I know I
link.
registered, but I didn't get any response back. I don't know. I'm registering again. Hopefully it works this time.
Well, do they have the link directly on there? No, they did for the other event, for the previous. The Ask Me Anything. They just dropped the Google Meet
Right,
link.
which was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's the easiest way. I don't know why they go through all these like hoops and ladders to try to
Well, they
register
like to know
people.
who's coming in advance, get those email addresses, scrape them the whole
Yeah,
nine. So.
right.
Anyway, so if you're interested in watching this not in real time, we'll have the link for you in the show notes. And then if you have questions, you can write them down and save them for when we do our show with Secret Somebody from the Workspace certification team. So stay tuned for that. Next up is a little bit more information on the whiteboard Miro integration. This was, Steve and I were talking about this before the show, and I was going, didn't they talk about this a long time ago? Didn't they announce this a while back? And the answer is yes, they did. It was originally announced in August of 21, and the article that we have posted here is the updated version of that article. And they announced it a long time ago, but now it's officially here, and you can start using it. And one of the interesting things that they note in here is what I was saying before, is that in addition to first-party apps, Google Workspace, and I'm quoting here, wants to integrate third-party tools into a user's existing workflow. Google Meet now has another whiteboarding option with Miro. So looks like they're going for, I wouldn't say going for broke, but going for a bunch of other interesting tools to integrate here, as Steve and I were saying before. So
Yeah.
looking forward. Also, it states in the article here, Google wants Meet to come to, quote, many of the collaboration and productivity tools that you already use. This will happen over the coming quarters. So I guess stay tuned over the next year for more and more integrations. Steve, you said next 6 months betas. You're probably pretty on the mark with that one. Unfortunately, no hints in the screenshot here. You know, I like to deconstruct them and see if I can find anything new, but it looks pretty standard in their screenshot. So we'll have to dig into it later and let you know what it's like. And that's Miro. The next one we have here is the SADA Impact Cloud Transformation Summit. This came out of left field. Didn't know they were working on this, so I will be attending. And it looks to be that Steve might be attending. So if you're interested in meeting us in person, or at least me, but hopefully us in person, come on down. I don't know what they've got planned because they don't have a whole lot of information there, but it's in 57 days, 10 hours, 46 minutes, and 34 seconds because they have a countdown on the website. But I know that SADA generally puts on pretty good shows, and looking forward to the people that they are bringing in. They've got Billy Bean, who is of Moneyball fame, I believe. Did I get that right? Molded the Oakland Athletics into one of professional baseball's most consistent winners, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And then Alexis Ohanian, who is, I want to say the founder of Reddit. Did I get that right? Maybe.
I don't know.
He left Reddit to run a venture capital firm he co-founded. right before that. Business school case study and playbook for founders. Yeah, I don't know if he. I gotta look more into the thing here. I've got the window compressed and it was covering his bio. My mistake. Yes, co-founded Reddit in his UVA dorm and launched the venture upon graduation, ultimately selling the iconic company for millions of dollars. So he'll be there to talk about that, and has made early investments through his venture capital group in Coinbase, Opendoor, Instacart, Patreon, and Row. And he will, I guess, be talking about some of that. And then, of course, there's going to be a whole mess load of sponsors and featured speakers from said sponsors. But it should be a good show. I'm definitely looking forward to it and looking forward to getting more information about it. They are in the Sheraton Universal Hotel, which is in LA. I'm a big fan of this hotel. We did our Tab Geeks Micro conference there a couple of years ago. So it's a beautiful place. It's recently renovated, if I remember correctly. So come on down, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah. When I see the name like Billy Bean, I just think of like Butterbean, the wrestler.
Okay.
When I saw the name, I'm like, wait a minute, why is the wrestler talking at the soda event? And then I looked at the picture, I'm like, oh wait, that's not Butterbean.
No.
No.
Yeah, I still don't think so.
Well, no. Yeah.
No,
Very
he's a
different
Moneyball
person.
guy. Yes.
Very different sport.
And in case I didn't mention it, that is September 14th to 15th, 2022. It is going to be virtual as well as in person in Los Angeles. So stay tuned for more on that. And then the last thing I just wanted to draw your attention to is an interesting milestone here for our friends over at C2C Global. There's a PR piece here that they have officially hit 25,000 members. I don't know if that's daily active users, but hey, getting a member community like that is not easy. I can tell you from personal experience, so good for them, and it continues to grow, and hopefully we see more events from them and more success. Good luck to them.
Yeah.
And that's our show.
That's the show. Yeah.
That's all she wrote.
To that. Time kind of flew by, but 45 minutes, almost 45 minutes in, so.
A lot of talking.
There we go. A lot more than last week, yeah, our short 20-minute episode.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're going to go get some sleep, and I'll put this up tomorrow when I can put it all together. It's been a long week. That's all for this week. Send us your questions and comments on Twitter at Workspace Recap and on our website, workspacerecap.com. Hit the subscribe button, leave us a review on your favorite podcasting platform or wherever you are listening, as well as give us a thumbs up on the YouTube video. Leave your comments down below, questions, etc. Always happy to hear them. Yep, lots of thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Workspace Recap.